Alright, well, yep, I am back. Greetings, programs. I wanted to show you something that I had just added to my game here. It's like Master of Barbarricade, of course, the support of Barbarricade for the ColecoVision, which now has trackball support thanks to Oscar Toledo. Thanks, man. I greatly appreciate it. Anyway, but I figured I might as well add something to make it stand out. And what I decided to do is, hopefully this will work. There we go. A versus mode. This is Battle Barbarricade. Now, the problem is, it was like I'm trying to make a two-player competitive game that, without a second player, you're going to understand the problems that presents. But yes, it's a best... Yeah, you get fireballs, and the thing is, you could actually use the beams against your opponent to be able to stun them temporarily, letting you sneak a ball past them. I mean, it doesn't kill them, but it will slow them down. It was... There we go. I mean, unfortunately, that kind of brings me to the limit of about 48k. I think I've got about, like, maybe 4k left to play with. And... Well, anyway, it was like, I just wanted you to see that, because I thought it was kind of a nifty idea. See, the thing is, this has kind of been attempted before, a more combative version of Pong. In fact, somebody released a game called Pong Combat back in the 90s for computers. It was shareware. And basically the whole conceit is that it was Pong, but also Mortal Kombat. And in addition to batting the ball back and forth between the players, they had a life bar and they could shoot projectiles at each other. And let's see, which is what inspired that. And the thing is, I'm kind of wondering if I should make the beams actually destroy the bricks as well. They don't, but it seems like it would be logical, you know, if there's the only reason to use the beam is to incapacitate your opponent temporarily, it's probably not going to be very helpful. But anyway, and yeah, it's like, the nifty thing about this is that it's designed so that if you want to play two-player, you don't even have to select it as an option. Basically, all you gotta do is press, I believe, the 1 button on the second controller, and it automatically starts right up on it. So that's the third of the modes in there. It's like the first one is the campaign mode, as they call them these days, but that's such a Call of Duty thing. Such a Call of Duty description, and I'm kind of done with their duty call and otherwise. Anyway, but yeah, I'll spend a little time with the regular game as well, but yeah, I got the little glowy thing going on with the logo. I was going to completely redesign that logo and had some ideas, and then I decided, you know what, it was like the design I made for the ColecoVision will work. I'll just give it a literal glow up by giving it like a palette strobe effect like you're seeing right here. And I mean, works for me. Anyway, yeah. You can skip this now. I need to do that with the ColecoVision version as well, because, really, you know, I mean, everybody likes those cutscenes until they have to sit through them 27 times. So, I had to take that into account. Yeah, it's like the point label turns into an oops if you happen to miss the ball. And what I was thinking of maybe is um, basic or I was thinking of actually subtracting the 2,000 points from the player, but nah, that seemed a little mean. It's like adding insult to injury. Anyway, as if seeing your 2,000 points turn into an oops wasn't bad enough. Anyway, let's see. Okay, whoop. There we are. Ooh, 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 ooh. Anyway, and, yeah. Oh, crap. The versus mode, I was thought about kind of giving it kind of like an arena feel to it, you know? It was like cheering crowds and that sort of thing, but unfortunately I have yet to find a way to do that. It's like, as you may or may not know, the Master System uses the same sound chip as the ColecoVision, the SN7, and the thing about the SN7 is that you get 3 sound channels and a noise channel, but it seemed like the noise channel affects everything else, and the routine that I have for sound generation is such that it only really uses one channel, and to be able to have like a cheering crowd with you know, hoops and hollers and woos and all that kind of stuff, you know, yeah, you have to have 2 sound channels, and I have yet to find a way to be able to do that. And even if I did, it looks like the noise channel actually, you know, if you turn on a switch in there, it's like, I don't remember exactly what it is, but it affects the sound of anything else that it plays, so I don't know. I mean, it was like, and I've been trying to find examples of cheering and crowds in Master System games. I imagine they had to be like sports games usually, but unfortunately, I have yet to find that. Sorry. Oh, man, I nearly got stabbed. That would have sucked. Okay, and oh, that's good. Yeah, let's get it in nice and tight. Oh yeah. Ooh, there we go. Oop, oh, no. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Okay. Trying to get the cash crunch bonus, and it's not happening. Basically. Oh, well, that was fantastic. Oh, great. Now you're going to be bouncing around forever, aren't you? Okay. Oh, crap! Well, that was a bogey. Got the squeeze play bonus for what little that's worth. Anywho, so that's kind of been the situation right there. It's like, it sounds like the ColecoVision version. Oh! A Barbarricade is a go, because Oscar also fixed the trackball support, so the game shouldn't shift into turbo when you use the trackball. And see, this has been a long-standing problem in ColecoVision games. This is far from the first. It's like anything Konami made generally tends to have that same reaction to analog controllers. You take like that super action controller thing that they've got. It looks like a sword hilt with a joystick on the top, and you start spinning that dial when you're playing Cabbage Patch Kids or Athletic World or whatever you want to call it, and the game goes haywire. Everything goes like a double or triple speed, and yeah, it was like, I don't remember what the situation was. The way Oscar described it, it sounded like, oh man. How did he describe it? Well, basically, it needed to wait to read from the trackball, because if it didn't, then, yeah, everything goes too fast. So it's probably just kind of like a once every 60th frame type of thing. Whatever. Oh, 60 frames kind of thing. You know what I mean. Anyway, ooh, no. Now, oh yeah, this was the other thing I was thinking about doing. Things are getting kind of tight in the design of this game, now that I've basically added a whole other game to it. But I was thinking of adding like a panic mode similar to what was in Solar Fox 2. And basically, when you're down to this last irritating brick that nobody can ever seem to get, I was thinking of actually kind of like starting a 10-second countdown. And if you manage to get it, you get extra points. If you don't, you get no bonus. And you might not even get the bonuses, the carrot bonuses that I had, like, squeeze play and that sort of thing. And Mad Ballin'. Anyway, it's a thought. It's not necessary. I don't have to. I mean, it's like the game is a pretty full-featured package as it is. But, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to have an illustrated ending for Slim here, but yes, I did the lame Micronics thing and just used a text ending, but in all fairness, it started on the ColecoVision. What do you want? The thing that kind of drives me nuts about the system, though, the architectures of the ColecoVision. Oh, this is just getting tiresome. Anyway. The architectures of the ColecoVision and the Master System are such that if you had the original code, it seems like it would be exceedingly easy to take any ColecoVision game in existence and give it a glow-up on the Master System. Make it what it probably should have been in the first place. Because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the ColecoVision. The one-color sprites and the general ugliness of the colors kind of really throws me off. But the Master System solves all that and adds scrolling, which is, an essential part of any game system's diet, especially in the late 1980s. I mean, it's like Mr. Doo's Castle was released for the ColecoVision, and it's a fantastic port. It's better than the 5200 version, as much as I hate to admit that. And its only problem is that it has to kind of limp by with these single-colored sprites, and they don't look fantastic. You can tell what they're supposed to be, and Mr. Doo is like 2 colors at least. But, the thing is, on the Master System, color is no object. I can have up to 15 colors in a single damn sprite. They're all the same colors. Everything has to use those same 15 colors unless you start using the palette command. But, it's like there's plenty of good ones. I mean, you got about 40 good colors out of the 64 that are in the Master System color palette. And they're almost invariably better than the ones that were on the ColecoVision. The only problem is Master System colors tend to be green and then very, very minor variation on green to the point where they're not even any different. Not to the naked eye, anyway. I mean, if you look very carefully at the ball in this game, I'm using like 2 or 3 different colors of blue, but they're so pale, you can barely notice the difference between them. And it was like the whole idea was to give it like dimension and give it a sense of shading, but and it was like when the colors are so similar, you don't notice the differences. What's the frickin' point? Anyway, yeah, but my point is, it was just about any ColecoVision game that was worth a damn. And there were some. There were about a dozen or 2 dozen ColecoVision games, not including mine, of course, that were pretty darn great. And they would be pretty darn better on the Master System. And the same applies to a lot of early MSX1 games. It's like Compile released a game called CISO, which is kind of their take on a Mappy / Donkey Kong style game. And look, I'm a compile mark, okay? So I was automatically interested in this game because I like Donkey Kong clones and I like compile. Don't like compile heart. That sucks. That's an affront to compile, but original compile is great. They made the Godzilla game for the NES, which looked fantastic in spite of all of its huge repetition. And, like, a million different takes on Zanuck and, including the Guardian Legend, which is pretty much a classic on the NES. And Space Megaforce, which is generic as all get out, but satisfies like a 10-ton Snickers bar, basically. I mean, it's a very good, very varied shooter. I for what it's worth, I like it better than Musha, which was the Genesis shooter, also by Compile. But I don't know, I just wasn't down with that. Fewer weapons, maybe an over-reliance on the whole futuristic Japanese thing that they later did with Robo Aleste, and I don't know. It's like Space Megaforce is kind of like mashed potatoes. It's like it doesn't look like anything special, but you start consuming it and it satisfies. It's really, really fills the tummy as a shooter, and I just wasn't getting that from Musha. Well, I don't even remember why I brought up Compile, but it's always a good reason to bring up Compile because they were a great developer. Not Compile Heart, though. Okay. Oh, yeah. Back to the whole ColecoVision MSX thing. What's like a glow-up of Seesaw, or Seesaw, sorry. A glow-up of Seesaw would be fantastic on the Master System. It would have all the detail that it couldn't have on ColecoVision and MSX. I mean, some games aren't going to benefit from that, really. I mean, Pepper 2 looked like Pepper 2 does, whether you're playing it in arcades or ColecoVision. There really wasn't anywhere to go with that. Pepper 2 is just what it is. Unfortunately, Exidy was using fairly primitive hardware, so it wasn't really an imposition at all on the ColecoVision graphics processor. So, but you get up to something like Mr. Do's Castle or even Mr. Do, and, the ColecoVision starts to become the CrecoVision and can't quite get it over the top, basically. And I think the Master System, which is identical in nearly every other respect, really. I mean, it's got the 8K, but sound processor is the same, the resolution is the same, the logic in CV Basic is likewise the same. I mean, I'm not going to say that I just basically threw new graphics at this and boom, new game. No, there was more to it than that. First of all, you have to adapt it for the skinny sprites on the Master System because they're big on Coleco and not big on Master System, so you basically have to chain sprites together to make up for that. But, I mean, you get 15 colors, you only get one with the ColecoVision, and if you look, it was like their version of Donkey Kong on that rather mediocre pack-in that they released. Yeah, anyway, it's like the Mario sprite is like 3 or 4 different colors, but to get that depth of color, he had to be 3 or 4 different sprites. And yeah, eventually, when you've got 3 or 4 different sprites packed together like that, you're going to get some flicker, which is why there are so few barrels on the screen when you're playing. By the way, don't bother with the pack-in Donkey Kong. It's overrated as hell. Opcode's Donkey Kong arcade game is the way to go. It is so close to the arcade game. Even with the crap ColecoVision colors, it's nuts. It's like an absolute must-have if you're at all into ColecoVision. That's the way the game should have been done. And wasn't. But anyway, I just keep letting that thing strobe. It was like, and Spy Hunter. Imagine Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter was crap on NES, and I hate to say that because you know what? It was like it had a chance to be good. It was by Sunsoft. could have been better than the arcade game, which is kind of fidgety to play because of the whole, wheel and gas pedal setup and the whole jillion different buttons and all that kind of stuff. It's just a handful to play. The way that Defender was a handful to play, and the ColecoVision smooths all that out. I mean, you could play with a Super Action controller if you want. It's not strictly necessary. The game plays well. It feels more fair than the arcade game. It's not a situation where you have, two speeds, impossibly slow, and you're about to die. It's like you can vary things a bit. And the thing is, the Master System could take that basic code, pump up the colors, first of all, pump up the details on the characters, because there's it's a ColecoVision. You only have one or two color characters, or else you got a mountain of flicker. And yeah, it was not a problem for the Master System. And the scrolling would be so much better. They did the best they could with the ColecoVision, but the ColecoVision doesn't have scrolling as we understand it today. The Master System does. So it could be so much better on that machine. And before you mention Action Fighter, I'm well aware of Action Fighter. Okay. You might as well talk about Bradbury. I'm aware of his work. It was the reality of the situation is I don't like Action Fighter. I don't think it's as good as the ColecoVision version of Spy Hunter. And most things are better than the NES version of Spy Hunter, which is completely unfair and obnoxious to play. Still has speed issues. You're either too fast or too slow. It's really kind of strange that Sunsoft gave us this rather hackneyed port of Spy Hunter, and then years later gave us Super Spy Hunter, which actually feels like the sequel to Spy Hunter that Spy Hunter 2 in arcades should have been. It was I'm just at a kind of a loss as to what happened there. First of all, they hired Brian Colin as the artist, and Brian Colin is not the artist for this kind of game. It's supposed to have a very realistic, gritty style. What does Brian Colin do? He does Mad Magazine art, basically. And, no offense to him or Mad Magazine, I loved it to pieces, and I love me some Rampage, but it totally sets the wrong mood for Spy Hunter. And then they put it in a 3D perspective. I think the game was released in 1987. And even for the time, it looks like quite the joke compared to Buggy Boy or classic example Outrun. I mean, it's kind of shot even in comparison to Taito's Change Lanes, and Change Lanes was from 1983. Spy Hunter 2 was from 1987. It looks like crap. The 3D is terrible. I mean, it's so much of the screen is wasted. It makes Zybots look like an IMAX screen. It was just, what were you thinking, Midway? It's actually worse than Joust 2, and I hate Joust 2. Anyway, Joust 2 is a kind of game that makes even Balloon Fight look good. Anyway, yeah, well, I just wanted to mention all this and then get into some weird rant about old arcade games, because that's what I'm into. And, show off the new features. It was as usual, you can find the game at arugulaZ.itch.io. It's free over there, although if you want to give me a donation, I will certainly not stop you. But what I would like to see is people playtesting this, especially the two-player mode. I'm a hermit. I don't have a two-player to mode with. I basically kind of have to play it by ear. And I don't know if Battle Barbarricade is actually a welcome feature to the game, or if it's just a waste of RAM, or a waste of storage. See, that was the thing that my computer, I used to work at a computer lab, and the guy that worked with me got on my case about that. Don't confuse storage with RAM. They're not the same thing. He made that very clear, and yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, RAM can be used for storage and vice versa, but, it's like RAM is volatile. Once you shut it off, it's gone for good. And storage sticks around for a while. At least theoretically. At the time, we were still using floppy disks. And yeah, floppy disks don't last terribly long. Okay, well, anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And anyway, good day and great gaming.